So this video is actually for realtors and mortgage brokers. If you're not a realtor or mortgage broker, feel free to watch any of the other videos, but this one is specific for my realtor and mortgage broker friends. So I found out, I should have guessed, but I found out that most people who are not directly in the construction business, or perhaps they don't do a ton of business with multifamily residential, they don't know too much about some of the CMHC programs that are out there. And I just want to share this with them, hopefully because they've got clients that can really benefit from this. And one of the things that CMHC does better than anything else is protect themselves. And they do a fantastic job that once they feel like they're overweight in any one specific product, they just cancel that product altogether. We were talking today with a friend of mine, and 15, 20 years ago, CMHC did rental properties, like individual single family home rental properties. And again, they insured 90% loan to value. Then they increased it to 95% loan to value. And then finally, they actually had a product, I'm guessing right around 2008, because that's when everything kind of went nuts in the mortgage world. But they were doing 100% financing on rental properties, if you can imagine that. And I was talking to as many people as I could, just saying, hey, listen, this is not going to be a forever thing. If you have ever wanted to own a rental property and can make a cash flow, this is the absolute best time to do it. And rates at the time, I'm going to say rates at the time were in and around 5.5. They may have been down at 4.5, but again, that was still fantastic rates. And so somebody could come to the table, and as long as they had money for land transfer tax, legal fees and that sort of stuff, and closing costs, they could buy with no other money down. And if they had any current rental properties, up to 4 units, they could refinance. And again, I'm thinking it was to 95% loan to value, but I might be wrong with that. So, I look at that, and they had self-employed products. They had all sorts of different things. And one of the things that, it's not frustrating because I know why they do it, but it's tough to hit a moving target. And with CMHC, they will just come out one day with an announcement, say, we are not doing this anymore. So I'll put it back on all my realtor and mortgage broker friends. Take a look at the MLI Select program before they turn off the taps. Quick rundown on what it is. So if your client wants to own rental properties, then they have to take a serious look at this, period. It is the only program that I know that they can get all of their money that they had into the project initially back at closing. You just can't find that anywhere else. If somebody wants to today own, large scale apartment buildings or, multi-res of any kind, they're going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to do that. And that money is tied up, and it could be a nightmare. So let's start at the top and work our way down. First, we purchase the land, and the land has to be conducive to putting some sort of multifamily on it. It has to be 5 units or more, and that's pretty much the only caveat. One of the people I was talking to today, they were asking about rural properties. My concern there is A, if it's got any type of ag zoning, you're not going to be able to get any type of multi-res on it, and B, if it's well and septic, absolutely not as well. So again, you want it inside the city or town zoning, and you want it to be water and sewer. so that they have water and sanitary already set up. So again, those are the main requirements. I would aim for properties, and again, you can do a land assembly, right? If you have two houses side by each, but you want probably an 80-foot frontage. That's going to give you the most options, or bigger, right? So again, that's kind of what to aim for. The other thing is, if they're looking at specific properties, there's going to be some single family homes that have now been upzoned. So again, depending on what municipality you are, there are certain cities and towns that have done comprehensive zoning reviews and comprehensive zoning changes in order to add to housing supply. So what they want to do is take some of these R1 zones and make them applicable to larger developments. So the project that we're working on with investors in Guelph, it was R1, and they upzoned it, if you will, as part of their comprehensive zoning bylaw to an R4, which allowed for townhouses. So again, that's kind of what you're looking for. But with the program, so I'll give you a quick example and see if you can figure out how to make this work for one of your clients. If you can find a property where you can build a 6-plex or bigger, 5-plex or bigger, they're going to need money up front to do that. Fair enough. But we can finance up to 95% loan to cost. So you're going to have to work with a builder that knows how to do the budget, makes the applications, all that sort of stuff. We will work, if you're a mortgage broker and you want to do this, we will work with you to help you through the MLI Select application process. Again, we're not out to steal clients. We want to work with people. So as you go through the process, up to 95% loan to cost. And you get there by hitting certain point thresholds. So again, a general application that has 50 points, so that's 10% of the units are affordable, as an example. That's going to get you 50 points. That's going to get you in the door, and you could do 90% loan to cost. So it's a good starting point. But if you can get to 100 points, and we'd show you different ways to do that. If you can get to 100 points, now all of a sudden you are getting extended amortizations, lower DCR, so lower debt cost coverage ratio. And again, once your foot in the door, you get best rates because these products are insured. So again, mortgage lenders, they'll give you the insured rate, which is fantastic. So a quick example, $12 million build it. And your client finishes up the construction, so they engage someone like us, King Will Fine Homes, to help them with that build. We get to the end, and they say, you know what? We would like to sell it. How much easier is that process going to be to find buyers that only need 5% down or 10% down, as opposed to 20 or 25% down? So again, it opens the door for that. If they retain it, they can refinance up to 95% loan to value and pull out all of the money that they put in initially. Okay, so on my $12 million example, you can finance conventionally 75% loan to value. You'd be paying around 6% interest rate, just as part of my example. 25-year AM. So you're pulling out $9 million. Now, that's not quite, perhaps, what you had in it. So you still have to leave some of your capital in that project. Okay? Through MLI Select. Now, all of a sudden, you can pull out to 95%. So you're up, say, $2 million more than had you gone the conventional route. So you're getting all of the money that you put into it initially back, and then some. Do you have to take that much? No, right? You pick and choose what levels you want, but the option's there. Then in terms of cash flow, you can go up to a 50-year amortization. And what that's going to do is truly reduce the amount you're paying every single month. The difference in my example on a $12 million project is about $9,000 a month. That's astronomical. That's certainly pays for a property management company way more than a property management company. So now you can get all your money out. You can have somebody manage this whole project for you, so you don't have that 3 o'clock phone call about a leaky toilet or something. And you're that extra money that's coming in every month, you can pay down the mortgage, you can move on to a different project you can use for whatever. So there's a ton of different options that are available to you. Or, like I said in my first example, you get to the end, you say, you know what? I like the project. I don't think I want to be a property owner. Put it up for sale. Apples to apples, two projects that are very similar in terms of cash flow and monthly income, operating expenses, all that sort of stuff. Yours is going to sell way earlier than the other because now you can insure it to 95% loan to value. Again, the buyer is going to want to save that $9,000 a month, right? And that's money right back in your client's pockets. So it's certainly something that you can explore. In the description, I'll post links to the CMHC page that describes it. We describe it fairly well, I think, as on our own website. But just make sure that you don't let this one go by without taking a serious look at it. To thank the people that made it to the end of this video, and any of the realtor and mortgage professionals that we deal with, we also pay a commission to them for helping us find clients. So instead of just getting paid on the initial land acquisition, now you're getting paid on the full amount. So it's really in your best interest to take a look at this. Plus, if they then sell it to the next buyer, maybe now you're double dipping on the commission, right? You're getting paid a couple times, and we're not talking small little $1 million, $2 million houses. We're talking 10, 12, 15, $20 million projects. So the compensation can be certainly worth it to do your research on it and go from there. So 3 categories that the program breaks down into: affordability, energy efficiency, and accessibility. We've found that accessibility for some of the projects have been difficult just because they're stacked towns or whatever. So I don't talk too much about it because I just haven't gone through that aspect. The energy efficiency, it was great until June 9th of 2024. And then they did away with some of the credits and made it more difficult to hit that because they really are focusing on the affordability. So when you're doing the numbers, what location you're in certainly plays a large role in how it's calculated. And I will post a link to a spreadsheet on that as well. So if you're in Guelph, they have a set maximum rent for the affordable units. If you are in Kitchener-Waterloo, they've got a different number for you. If you're Fergus-Elora, you might be lumped into the overall provincial number because they don't break it down for each and every municipality. They also are using 2019 census data for their calculations. So it's may seem a little lower than some of the current numbers, but again, giving up 10, 15, or 25, depending on what threshold you're at, of units to be affordable, but then getting it back in terms of the vast savings on the mortgage side, certainly the pros outweigh the cons. So again, we'll walk through that, help any of our clients, any of our professional referral sources with that and analyzing the deal. But like I said, in the description, I will post the links for all of the key information pieces. And again, we've got a selection of other videos that walk through how to hit 100 points with MLI Select and that sort of stuff. But I just want to make you aware that you have a builder out there in your area that is wanting to work with you to help your clients and to build that relationship long term. Okay, thanks.